Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome on our show Race Previews, which is held every Friday to help you go through the race card. And for today, we are going to go through the race card for the 10th meeting to be held tomorrow, Saturday, 20th of May, 2023. And to remind our viewers, the fourth race will be at 4.50 meters and the track reading is normal at 2.8. And as usual, by my side, our racing consultant from South Africa, Devon Habib. Hi, Devon.
Hi, Ria. How are you?
Fine, thanks. You and you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. I'm obviously very excited for this meeting ahead again. Looks like a nice and competitive one going forward.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a nice card, and I think there's some money to be made.
So without wasting any more time, we'll start with race 1, the Noblesse Cup, with 7 runners, which will be run over 1365 meters, 0 to 15. Number 1, African Faith. Number 2, Tax. Number 3, Constitutional. Number 4, the Gypsy King. Number 5, Crack On. Number 6, Le Cotier. And number 7, Rochester. Devon, what are your choices for this race?
Yeah, look, we tying back into the first race and the theory that I've got that's something to do with Peaky Blinders wins, and I'm tipping the Gypsy King once again. I think he's the right horse. I tipped him last time, he won convincingly, and he won a really good race last time, beating Chief of You. So yeah, I think he's a big runner, and I don't see much beating him in this race. Look, it's a lot more competitive than it was the time before, but yeah, I think he's a massive runner, and I make him value at that price. I mean, you can see his last run.
Can we see his last performance?
He ran a really good race there, and yeah, he was unbeatable on that run, so I think he'll do it again. And
last time a horse was scratched, both uppers, so he got everything in his favor.
100%, and you'll put this field to sleep, and you'll say, by the order.
And do you think this time also he'll be able to get the lead easily?
I do personally feel like he's going to get to the front, and I mean, you can see he's in front here with the yellow cap. He's running a monstrous race, and I feel like the Ramana stable's in such hot form. We mentioned it last week that even the stable cat will win if they run. So yeah, I gotta be stupid not to mention him as my first selection in this race. I mean, you can see he's put in a distance between the rest of them, and I don't see much challenging him this time. I mean, you got a horse like African Fate who's a little bit hot,
yeah,
very excited horse, very quirky. He was scratched last time because he flipped in the parade ring. So yeah, I think he's probably the horse that we'll have to watch out for if he does run. He could do his own thing, go to the front. But I mean, the biggest danger to the Gypsy King for me could be R-Tax. I know he hasn't run for a while, but with his running tactics, if he gets to the front, he could also be a massive runner. I think he's at
with 61.5 kg, and with the light weight of the Gypsy King, so will R-Tax be able to lead?
Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying. If he gets to the front and has a soft lead, he's got a big chance. But he has won from second and third, and he's a massive price of 20 to 1. So he's my value bet in the race, and I think he is probably the biggest danger. He is a 4-time winner, so I do like him. I think he's got a chance, and he was in good form last season. So I think if he brings back that form, I mean, he beat Crushing Force 4 lengths. So I mean, yeah, it's a big run from him. So I'm quite big on him. I think for second. For third, I feel like there's also Rochester. Yes, I know he's old, and I know he's had his problems and everything like that, but he ran a really nice race last time behind Sergeant York, and I think he can bounce back from that. It's nice to see that this jockey's got his first ride, and
yes, new apprentice Jita.
Yeah, it's very nice to see him, and I know him as a friend as well, and I hope it goes well for him. I think he'll run into the back end of quartets, maybe third, fourth. I do fancy this horse for the minor money.
Indeed, Rochester is quite a consistent horse.
Very consistent. I mean, he's one of those horses.
He got the second draw and will be placed.
And he's got 51 kilos on his back. He could be the dark horse in the race. Yeah, for me, that's one of the biggest dangers. And this African Fate. I mean, this jockey strike rate's pretty impressive. So 2 rides, a winner and a short head second. So he was very unlucky not to win last time. And I think if this horse doesn't give him too many problems, that will be running into the back end of Quartet, you know.
So for the win, number 4, the Gypsy King, and for the placings, number 2, Tax, number 7, Rochester, and number 1, African Fate. Moving on to race 2, the Botanic Cup with 5 runners, number 1, Bellagio King, number 2, Giggin, number 3, Gordon's Town, number 4, Now Fazmal, and number 5, Tomorrow's Vision. A race which will be run over 1600 meters, 0 to 25. Devon, your pick?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with the Bellagio King again. I think Bellagio King won very well last time, and I think he can do the same again.
Did you think last time he won in not a strong field with only 3 runners?
Yeah, look, he didn't beat much. I mean, he beat 3 horses. You can see last time his run from last time there wasn't much in the race, but he did beat 2 nice horses. So I think he's surely got to have a chance.
We are looking at his last race.
Yeah, he takes the rail run with the blue and white colours, and Enigma Code's in front, and I think it's Benediju that's at the back of the field. So he's beaten 2 really nice horses, yeah, and you can see he makes a run for it, and he wins a convincing race, and I think he could do the same again. Look, there's obviously dangers. If Gordon's Town gets to the front and has no competition up there, I think that's probably one of the horses that they'll have to watch out for. But yeah, there's a lot of information that we can mention about this horse. Tomorrow's Vision, also front runner. I mean, you can see Gordon's Town. He's a very fast front runner as well. Yeah. And he's a quick horse. I mean, he's working extremely well, as you can see. So yeah, I think the pace up front might be between him and Tomorrow's Vision, because Tomorrow's Vision won a really good race when he went to the front in South Africa. So maybe he runs from the front, and yeah, I feel like this could be the 2 horses fighting out first and second in front. I'm not saying for the win, but I mean like to make the pace. And then yeah, like for me it's a very open race if you take into consideration the tactics, but I think Bellagio King's the right horse in the race again. He's got Club Jockey on, who's in really good form, Donahue, so I think that's one that we'll have to keep an eye out on, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him winning again.
And for the placings?
I'm going to tip Gordon's Town to run second. I think if he gets a soft lead, he might even be able to steal this race. He's got Draw 1, he's got Tucker on, and Tucker suits horses that run in the front, so I think it could be the dark horse for me. Biggest danger to Bellagio King, in my opinion. And
you think the 1600 meters will suit Gordon's Town?
Look, for me, if the 1600, they might go a little bit slower than the 1400, so you might be able to have an easier lead if you take that into consideration. So if the pace is there and it's not too hot, he's definitely going to hold on. I wouldn't be surprised to see him running a massive race. For third, I'm tipping a horse like Tomorrow's Vision. With form like that in South Africa, really strong form. He ran behind Thunderstruck.
He won on this distance as well.
He won over 1600 from the front. Mercantor, those are really top horses. So for me, this horse has to have a chance. If he brings any of that form into the race, he's got a chance, definitely got a chance.
1600 meters for start with a 4.5 meters force race.
It is a bit far for him. Well, I wouldn't say far for him. I think he's looking for the distance, but I mean, it's a bit further than 1600 if you 3 wide. Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't have a bad run, and I think he'll run a massive race. It's just obviously it's his first run in Mauritius, and I know you like this horse quite a bit. I think this is one of your fancies.
I like the name.
You like the name. Tremanjo Vu.
I like Bellagio King in this race.
You also like Bellagio King. So yeah, look, I think it's a very open race. Take into consideration for the placings. I think Bellagio King might just prove a bit too good for them in this race.
And number 2, Giggin.
Yeah, look, Giggin ran a nice race last time. He was one of my fancies throughout the season last year, and I think he might just improve from his last run. So Yes, he could be a big runner. Bernard's on. Yeah.
Dropping back in 25, 0 to 25.
He's definitely got a chance. He has to be running into the back end of quartet for me, but I think he's got a chance.
What is the best way for this horse to win, in your opinion?
Look, also, I think if he comes from just off them, second, third, he'll be there. I feel like there's going to be maybe some pace in this race, and he could be behind them. And if there isn't pace in the race, he could maybe make the pace. And I think he's very versatile. He can run from off them, from them. He's a nice horse as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very difficult race for me if you take Bellagio King out.
So number 1, Bellagio King for the win, and for the placings, number 3, Gordonstown, number 5, Tomorrow's Vision, and number 2, Giggin. Let's now move on to race 3, the Sentinel Cup, with number 1, Divergent, number 2, Nimitz, number 3, Liverpool Champ, number 4, Noble Trip, and number 5, Sino's Guess. 1600 meters in benchmark 31. Devon, which horse you like for the win?
Look, I'm going with a bit of value in this race. It's one of my value bets for the day, and you know me, I'm not a fan of the horse's second run in Mauritius, so I'm scrapping the favourite out of my selections. I'm going with number 4 to win, Noble Trip. I think he's the right horse in the race. He's run behind really, really good horses like Instinctive Power and Flower Escape. I mean, it's very hard to not take note of that form. I think this is the value for the day. I think this is where the punters can make their money, as I mentioned earlier on in the show. Yeah, I'm very big on this horse. I think I would make him one of my better bets on the card. You can see his last run. He's got the silver and red colours at the back with Jameer on, and I know he gets beat 4-5 lengths in this race, but it was his second run of the season. He might have needed it.
And that was on 1450 meters. I think the 1600 meters we saw this horse.
Most definitely, and it's his third run of the season. He's cherry ripe. He's making up the ground where he needs to, and yeah, I think any horse that can run 4-5 lengths behind Instinctive Power surely got to be mentioned. I mean, the form line's been franked. Everything that's run behind him's come out and won. So I'm big on this horse, and he's got a nice weight of what, 59 kilos on his back.
59 kg. Yeah.
I'm quite confident on him.
And for the placings, sir?
For second, I'm going with a horse like Nimitz that ran second last time behind Tiger's Rock. I think it was a nice improved run. Yeah, his form line before that wasn't too bad, and I think he is a massive runner. So we have to take into consideration he's got draw 1, he's got Club Jockey on. It's definitely the horse that they all have to watch out for. It might just be down his alley, the 1600, because he enjoyed it last time, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him running a nice race here again.
Indeed, Nimitz last time finished only 0.85 length from the winner, Tiger's Rock.
No, 100%. He's a massive runner, and he's definitely the biggest danger to Noble Trip, in my opinion.
And number 3, Liverpool Champ. What do you think about this horse?
Yeah, I do like Liverpool Champ. I just don't know if he can turn the form around on Nimitz. He got beat almost 9 lengths behind. So that's 8 lengths behind Nimitz.
Yeah.
Very hard for him to turn the form around on him. Saying that, I still feel like he's going to run a much better race. It's his third run of the season.
He's also removing the blinkers and putting on alumine shoes. He's got a claimer on board.
100%. He is a nice horse. I mean, all the tactics that they've changed could do a massive difference to him. And the first time they put the blinkers on last time didn't suit him. Maybe he didn't enjoy it. So yes, he is a big runner. He'll definitely be running into the back end of quartets, and the distance is probably the right distance for him. It might just be a bit too short, but he will enjoy it. So yeah, I'm tipping him to run third. And for fourth, I'm going to tip the favourite, Divergent. I'm not a big fan of the second run. It's always been my theory, and it's proven time and time again. Yes, his first run was phenomenal. Yes, I should be tipping him as my best bet of the card. But second run, I'm very scared of that, and I think I mean, he's running in a lot stronger now compared to what he ran his first time out, and he was running against horses that haven't run in a year. Now he's running against horses that have been running.
Yeah.
So I think he's a nice horse, don't get me wrong, But you can see his last run last time. It's proven that he's a nice horse, and he's got the yellow and blue colours at the back of the field. I mean, he makes up really good ground.
That was his first run of
first
the
run,
season.
but yet again he's run against horses that haven't run before in Mauritius that also had their first run. So he ran second behind a really nice horse of Armed Force who ran 6 lengths behind Cousin Casey in South Africa. So he is a nice horse. I mean, you can see he's making up the ground here, but he got a really good ride there. Sorry, he was actually with the blue and white on the rail. I followed the wrong horse there. And yeah, he did run a really good race, second behind Armed Force. But yeah, he's
changing equipment tomorrow.
But I just feel like the second one's my biggest put off. That's the only thing that's given me the negative factor.
And 62 kg as well.
And he's a maiden taking on 2-3 time winners, if not 4 time winners in the race. So it's difficult for him to overturn that.
So number 4, Noble Trip for the win and for the placings. Number 2, Nimitz. Number 3, Liverpool Champ. And number 1, Divergent. Race number 4, the Golden Dice Cup, which will be run over 990 meters. Benchmark 36. Number 1, Captain Garrett. Number 2, King of Goals. Number 3, Cloud Cedar. Number 4, Elmo. Number 5, Captain Mike. Number 6, Nino 2. And number 7, Light of My Life. Your choice for the win here, Devon.
I have banker written all over this horse. Banker, banker, banker. Number 4, Elmo. I don't see much beating him. I'm very confident. I think this is one of the top sprinters in Mauritius, and I doubt many horses are going to give him competition this season. I think he's a very serious animal. I know him from South Africa. Closely associated with the horse. I mean, my brother did own him, so I did follow this horse really strongly, and I do think he's the right horse in the race. I don't see much beating him.
So Elmo, the favorite of this race, going up in class, moving up in class from 31 to benchmark 36. He's in excellent form in training. Even then, you don't fear number 5, Captain Mike.
For me, I think he's going to win quite easily. I don't think he's a 35 rated horse. I think he's going to be a top rated horse here in Mauritius, and I think he's going to be running in the graded races very soon. I rate him quite highly. I mean, he beat King of Colts the length. Now King of Colts is carrying heavier weight than he was. So yeah, I'm very confident on him. You can see he's working extremely well as well. So I don't see much beating him. I'm very confident.
Okay. Yes, as said, he's been excellent at track work.
Yeah. He's on the outside. He's really working extremely well. I mean, you can see he looks like he's in a good space, and for me it's going to be very, very difficult to beat him. Sure, it was a bit of a scary moment there for him, but yeah, I think he's a very serious animal, and yes, Captain Mark could be his biggest danger. That's still some tip in for second, but I don't want to know anything. I think it's race over. I'm confident.
Last season, Captain Mike won on this same distance and same benchmark, but that was behind. He won, and second was Winter God, but there's no Elmo close to him.
No, 100%. I think he's a very nice horse, and I think Elmo is going to be very hard to beat. Obviously, Captain Mark's the horse I'm tipping to run second. I think he's the biggest danger. I mean, as you've mentioned, he won last season and ran second to Desert Boy. Definitely 2 good runs. I think he's a danger in the race, and I know he's a very nice looking horse as well. So I do fancy him for second. That's definitely the horse I'm tipping for second.
And number 2, King of Courts, with Stéphane Deneuille on board. Last time scratched due to lameness. Now, what about this race?
Look, I've been tipping this horse all the time. So I mean, obviously, I've seen that he's been working extremely well, and he's in a good space, and he's been running good races. He's been a little bit disappointing in his last run with behind Desert Boy. It might have been a bit too short for him, and I think his run behind Elmo, and he ran second to Alma. He beat Instinctive Power. So he is a very nice horse. I mean, any horse that can beat Instinctive Power at the moment, you've got to take note of that. So, yeah, I'm tipping him to run third. I think he'll run a good race. It's just going to be very hard for him to beat the 4 and the 5 in this race.
And what about Light of My Life? Quite consistent since his start of the season. 1 win and 1 placing.
Yeah, and he ran second behind Moroccan Retreat, who came out and won again. Flowerscape he beat. Flowerscape came out and won again. So yeah, it's definitely the horse that they'll have to take note of. He's got a low weight of 56 in this race. Drawn 1. He's got the right credentials to his name. He's 650. He's a good price. I think he's probably the value in the race. I don't know if he can beat Almo. For me, I don't rate them in the same class of horses, but I might be wrong. We've got to look at what they say on paper. He beat Instinctive Power as well back in maybe 7 or 8 runs ago. So yeah, he's definitely the dark horse in the race, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him running a massive one.
So number 4, Elmo for the win and for the placings. Number 5, Captain Mike. Number 2, King of Colts, and number 7, Light of My Life. Race number 5, the World Focus Cup, a race which will be run over 1600 meters, benchmark 56 with 6 runners. Number 1, Bag of Tricks. Number 2, Arizona Silk. Number 3, Shark Bar. Number 4, Prince Alf. Number 5, Battle of Alicia. And number 6, Ron's Joy. Devon, your selection.
Sure, I've gone with a little bit of an outsider. I wouldn't say he's an outsider, but he's about 4-5 to 1. Number 3, Shah Akbar. I know this horse is a very nice horse, and he does enjoy this track. And I think the distance is going to suit him, you know.
Indeed, this horse was crushed last week.
Yeah, he was scratched last week because there was no suitable jockey, not because of any injuries or anything like that. So I think he's might be even better because he have an extra week to train and to get fit. I think this is the right horse in the race. I mean, he's been running against the best of the best in Mauritius, so he's dropping in class in my opinion, and he's a massive runner. For me, the last time he ran over 56, he won. So I'm gonna tip him to win again. I think he's a serious horse. I mean, he ran in the July. My brother rode him in the July 3 years ago. So he's I mean, he didn't have a good run in the July. Something went wrong, but I think he's a nice horse. I mean, to get into the Durban July in South Africa, you've got to be good. So he's definitely one of those horses that have to be mentioned. And I think his biggest danger is obviously going to come from a horse like Battle of Alicia, who's been running extremely well since moved to Dominic's stable. I mean, before that his form wasn't bad either, but his last 2 runs have been pretty impressive.
Exactly.
He ran second to Special Blend, second to Courtroom Magic.
Superb run against Courtroom Magic last time. He
looked a winner. He was very unlucky, and yeah, I do think he's a nice horse. I do think he's a big runner. I mean, we can see his last run. He's got the purple and red colours on the rail. He's like 33rd, 4th. He looked a winner. I thought he had it, and obviously Courtroom Magic just had the better of him, and yeah, just unlucky on the day. I think the jockey on Courtroom Magic got ride of the day, so it was a really good ride from him. Just unlucky that he got beat, and I think he's one of those horses that could be a dark horse, you know. I think he could run a really good race as well.
And for the placings, number 4, Prince Alpha, horse which is moving up in benchmark 56. He looks great at track work, but do you think the claimer Sunaram can do something on board?
Look, Prince Alpha, I can't get him right. I don't know how to tip this horse. Every time I tip him, he runs 3rd or 5th, and every time I don't tip him to win, he comes and wins. That's why you're not tipping him to win. I'm not tipping him to win because I'm following the pattern. Okay. See, if you go on his pattern, he ran 5th, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 5th, 1st, and now he should, in my opinion, run 3rd, you know. So that's why I'm tipping him to run 3rd. I think it's a bit strong for him, this field. He is a progressive sort, and we've always mentioned that, but maybe it's coming a bit too soon for me.
Okay, and number 6, Runs Joy. Last time needed the run. This time with 52.5 kg. I think the first run has improved the horse further.
Yeah, and the only reason why I'm tipping Runs Joy is because you liked him very strong last time.
Indeed.
So there must have obviously been something that you noticed on him. And
I'm not tipping him for the win this time.
I think the back end of quartets, I mean, he's a big runner for me. I don't know if he's going to suit the 1600, but if he takes the 1600, it's going to be quite a nice run from him, in my opinion. He beat Bless My Path, who came out and won a smash and race on the weekend. And yes, he got beat 5 lengths to Dordare, but nothing was beaten Dordare that day. So it's a good run first time out. I think second run might be a big improvement. Third run, I think he'll be cherry ripe.
So number 3, Sharkboa for the win, and number 5, Battle of Alasia, and number 4, Prince Alf, and number 6, Runs Joy for the placings. Moving now to the main race of the day, a race to be run over 1850 meters, 50 plus, the Alain Pedro Farewell as Trainer Cup. First of all, Alain Pedro, wonderful trainer with 698 wins here in Mauritius.
It's sad to see him ending his career, but it's really nice to see that there is like a race mentioned after him, and it's nice to have that little bit of acknowledgement. I mean, his son's taken over now, his son's training, and his son's doing a really good job. He's such a nice person as well. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a sad, bittersweet moment for racing, but yeah, we wish him all the best in his
health issues,
in his retirement, and whatever else he has to plan for his life afterwards.
So we are seeing him here. Now this is in the past days with the trainer and his son Yannick Pedro, bringing a winner here.
It's probably going to be a very sad moment for him, but also
Wild
a lot of
this
pride.
This is the horse, Wild Focus.
Oh, it's Wild Focus.
Now it's 26-year-old, this horse,
sure,
and still here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a bittersweet moment for him, but I'm sure he's got a lot of history and a lot of good memories behind him, and we wish him all the best in his retirement.
Indeed. So 5 runners in the main race. Number 1, Holy Warrior. Number 2, Hubble. Number 3, Absolutist. Number 4, The Dazzler. And number 5, Lunification. Your pick here for the win, Devon?
I think I'd be wrong to say that Hubble could be one of the better bets on the card. I think this is one that they all have to watch out for. I think it's going to be very hard to beat him. I mean, his last run was really good behind Blackburn Rock. He was unlucky not to win. Second run might be a little bit difficult for him, but I don't see much beating him. I think he's going to go to the front, dictate the pace, and I think they won't catch him.
Favorite of the race, we can now look at his performance of last time, his first outing on 1400 meters.
You can see he was in front the whole way, and then
he got
obviously
the first draw that day.
Blackburn Rock looked like he had him stone cold, but he still fought on. For a second I was thinking to myself, my bank over the card last week, Blackburn Rock wasn't going to win, but it got up, and
he fought very strongly.
He fought on, so I like that, and I think that gave him a lot of confidence, and I think going forward it's going to be a hard horse to beat.
And for the placings, number 5, Lunification, eye-catching run on his 2023 debut on 1400 meters.
Yeah, most definitely, and he's working extremely well. So I think if we can watch his workout, he's in a really good space. Very, very good work on the inside there with the white cap.
Glory. He worked with Global Glory.
And he's in a really, really good space. You can see he's working extremely well. He's the biggest danger to Hubble, drawn 1. But it's going to be who's going to fight out for the lead, you know. Is Hubble going to take the lead and go to the front, or is Lunification going to fight to
save his energy?
Sorry?
He's going to save his energy.
I think Lunification's going to sit behind Hubble, in my opinion. I feel like Hubble's a bit faster. You see, there's a lot of negative factors about Hubble with being the 60.5, but he is a front running horse, and I think they both are. So it's going to be, if there's too much pace, it might even come a winner from something else, you know. But I feel like the way Hubble ran last time, he's going to be a horse that's hard to beat.
And number 1, Holy Warrior.
Look, Holy Warrior has been running against probably the best in Mauritius. So is this the best in Mauritius? Not really. This is a plus 50. So yes, there are really good horses in this race, but it's not your maiden cup winners and all that are running here. So I think Holy Warrior is a massive runner. I just feel like he might need one more run for me, and it's a bit too short for me. I think Holy Warrior is a horse that enjoys the 3,000 meter races, and 2.5, 2.4, 3,000, you know. So for me, 1850 might be a touch too short for him.
And which horse you think might complete the quartet here?
Look, I'm going to go with a horse like Absolutist. I think the break would have done him a world of good. He ran quite a bit last year, and I think he's going to enjoy the comeback run. He might run a massive race. He's been running against the best of the best as well.
Indeed, the gatekeeper, Twist of Fate, Arshiba.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those horses that have been knocking on the door.
Okay, so number 2, Hubble for the win, and for the placings, number 5, Lunafcation, number 1, Holy Warrior, and finally number 3, Absolutist. Race number 7, the 37th anniversary of Alain Pedro's Stable Cup. Number 1, Sergeant York, number 2, Charlie Squadron, number 3, Spotted Pearl, number 4, Italian Way, number 5, Yoho Miss, number 6, Duke of Abercorn, and number 7, Street Bite. The race will be run over 1400 meters, 0-220. Your pick here for the win, Devon?
I think it's going to be very hard to beat Sergeant York, especially the form that he's in, the way that he won last time. He won very impressively. Ramana Stables in form. Draw 1. Bernard on the top jockey at the moment.
And moving up in class from 0.15 to 0.20.
Look, I don't feel like it's much of a step
change,
up in class. So I feel like he's the type of horse that he should win again. I don't see much beating him.
Yes, I also think he'll be able to get the lead easily from the start of the gates.
I think you can see
we are now watching his last performance.
The way he won last time in front dictated it, made them chase after him, and he just kicked again. It was like put to bed long time ago. Yeah,
so here he gets the lead easily,
and he wins very convincingly. So he wins 4 or 5 lengths, easy enough. So yeah, I think he's a very hard horse to beat.
And for the placings,
I think Charlie Squadron, he's the horse that we'll have to watch out for. It's his first run of the season, and I think he's probably one of the horses that could be a dark horse in the race. It's almost a drop in class for him. It's gone from a 31 to a 20, so he's the horse that they all have to be careful of. I think he's the biggest danger to number 1. He's got claim 1.5 on, so he's quite well in at the weights, and I do think he's probably the biggest danger.
I think he got the same training as a winner of last week, better than the rest, this horse.
Yeah, no, he's in a good space, and I think you can see on his training he's working extremely well as well, and I think he's a horse that will probably run into second, in my opinion. Yeah, he's really in a good space, and for me, he's probably the biggest danger to Sergeant York. For third, I'm going to tip a horse like Yoho Mist. Once again, probably one of the most beautiful horses you'll ever see in Mauritius.
Yes.
It's like a silver grey, stunning.
Very nice looking horse.
And he was very unlucky when he ran second to Oxford Blue. So if he tries the same tactics, he could be there and thereabouts. I think he is a nice horse, so yeah, I'm tipping him to run third.
And number 4, Italian Way, draw number 2 in the stores. Very well at track work, quite a consistent horse in this class. Do you think we need to watch out for him?
Most definitely. I think this is a dark horse for me in the race. What's he trading at? Like almost 8-1. I think he could be, if he's fit, I don't think they're going to beat him. I think he could be the right horse. He's a 5-time winner. The rest of them are one-time winners and maidens. I think he's probably the biggest danger to most of these horses. If he comes back to himself, if he brings his last run back, yeah, I think he's a big runner. I do think he's a massive runner. I wouldn't be surprised to see him running a big race. It's a very tough race. I mean, you've got horses that have been mentioned every single meeting, like Duke of Abercorn, which would be so nice for Yannick to win the race
for his dad.
for his dad. It's his only run on the card, but he's been a little bit disappointing.
Depends on circumstances for this horse.
Most definitely. I think he's a type of horse that if everything goes his way, he could run a massive race. I mean, Spotted Pearl's also quite a nice horse, not bad form.
Looks like a changed horse.
He's working well, and Street Bart also not a bad horse. So yes, it's an open field, but for me, I'm gonna stick with my 1, 2, 5, 4 in that order.
So number 1, Sergeant York for the win and for the placings. Number 2, Charlie Squadron. Number 5, Euromist, and number 4, Italian Way. And the last race of the card, the October Snow Cup, 1400 meters, benchmark 46, with number 1, Double Games, number 2, Alaska Night, number 3, Brilliant Disguise, number 4, Global Glory, number 5, Watch Me Dad, number 6, Goji Well, number 7, Magnum PI, number 8, On Hamland, and number 9, Colas Mambo. Devon, which horse you like for the win in this last race?
I'm very confident on Hamland. Even though it's a tough race, I just feel like he's also on the up. I think I said last year that I don't think he's going to get beaten. He didn't. And I think this year, I think he might be one of those horses that are just going to go through the divisions again. You can see he's working extremely well, as we can watch here. And he's really in a good space. He's absolutely flying. I don't think they're going to beat him today.
He'll get all the circumstances in his favor.
He's got draw 1, claim 1.5. He's got what, 55.5 on his back. Yeah,
he'll draw 3 consecutive wins.
He could be my star bank on the day in this card, 100%.
Well.
I'm very confident on him. I do like him quite strong. What do you think? Are you also?
I also like this one for the win in the last race.
Most definitely. I'm very confident on him.
And for the placings?
Look, it was like number 4, Global Glory. As we saw, his training with Lunification was really decent, and he's been running against some nice horses as well. So, yeah, I do think he's a chance horse. I think he'll be the biggest danger to Arnhem Land, but I don't think they can beat him, in my opinion. I think Arnhem Land's quite strong. And Global Glory, I think he'll be a nice horse for second. For third, I'm tipping a horse like Magnum PI because I don't actually know how good this horse actually is. He could be a serious animal.
Gallops on the belt.
100%. He's working extremely well. He's beaten nice horses. He could be something really special. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing wrong in Mauritius, and yeah, he's definitely the horse that they all have to
with a
watch out
7th
for.
draw,
Yeah.
it's not going to be easy.
No, 100%. That's probably the biggest negative.
And number 2, Alaska Night.
Yeah, I'm tipping a massive price show. What's he? 30, I think it's 3,000, so he's like 30 to 1, biggest outside of the race. I think this is a type of horse that if he's got no option from that draw, so if he jumps and goes and he gets an easy lead, I think he's the biggest danger. He's been running against a lot stronger, and I mean, yeah, I think he's a nice horse going forward. I think he could run into the back end of quartets.
And another one that you like besides these 4?
Look, maybe Watch Me Dad, always been one of my favorite horses in Mauritius. I always think he's a nice horse, and maybe Double Games. I mean, they've been running 2 really, I mean, Double Games was formed his last 3 starts, he won all 3. Watch Me Dad ran behind Illicit Kiss. So, yeah, I think both of these horses could be the danger. Look, it's a very difficult race to take out Arnhem Land, but I feel Arnhem Land is just in a league of his own.
So I'm going to remind our viewers of your selections. Number 8, On Hamland for the win and for the placings. Number 4, Global Glory. Number 7, Magnum PI. And number 2, Alaska Night. Before we end the show, Devon, I'm going to ask you about your best bet of the day.
Look, my best bet comes up in race, what race was it now? In race
7?
No, I think it's race 4. Yeah, race 4, Almo, Banker. that's my best bet of the day. I don't think much will beat him, and yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit bold and say Bank of the decade. I think he's the right horse. I don't see much beating him.
The second one of the duo there.
Yeah, not as confident as I was with the other day, but I think he's a massive banker for me.
And as value bet?
Value bet comes up in race, I think it's race 3. Yeah, Noble Trip at 5-1. And another horse that you also have to take into consideration is a horse like Arlem Land. He could be one of your bankers on the day as well.
So the best bets of Devon, number 4, the horse number 4 in race 4, Elmo, and in the last race, horse number 8 on Hemland. And as for value bet in race 3, horse number 4, a Noble Trip. So Devon, we have now reached the end. And mine is the best bet is in race 7, horse number 4, Italian Way.
Okay.
And as value bet, I like number 1, double games in race 8.
So you've gone with the 8-1 best bet and double games in race 8. So you're big on the Vincent Allet horses.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I wouldn't say you're wrong.
Shape.
I wouldn't say you're wrong. I mean, they surely have chances. I mean, we both have different best bets, so it's not like we have the best bet in the same race.
Yeah. So thank you, Devon, for your presence and analysis.
Thank you as well, and I'd obviously take this opportunity to thank the media, the team behind the scenes. I also appreciate the opportunity that we get from PTP and the race in Mauritius that support us, the people, the public. We'd like to thank them all, and yeah, hopefully we tip you as many winners as possible. And to you, thank you for taking your time to do the show with me, and I think we've been doing pretty well. We've been tipping a lot of winners to the public, so let's hope it continues that way, and good punting.
Indeed.
I guess.
Big thanks to our viewers for watching race previews on every Friday, and also a special mention to the production team behind the cameras, the duo, the Mustang brothers. Till then, see you next week. Have a nice racing day tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.